Hey guys, welcome to Clockwork Noodles for your winter overview for 2024. To this video, we're going to be looking at the cool things coming our way, running through the things that are continuing, running through the things that I'm going to be breaking down on my channel, and of course the stuff that I'm checking out in my own time. Winter looks to be quite the interesting season where there seems to be a lot of things going on, a few big titles coming out and a lot of things coming back for second seasons, which is very exciting. Thank you guys so much for your continued support over the entire year. There will be a big video at the end of the year, which is going to be my Anime of the Year award. But I'm also going to go through thank yous and everything for you guys for supporting the channel. I think this has been the second year now that we've been running and we've made some progress. I'm very excited to discuss that with you guys as there's a lot of things now going on the channel. There's also going to be my end of season review that's coming out in about a week. I am a tiny bit ill, so please bear with me. It always gets to that point in the season where I start wondering what's coming our way, what fun is coming our way, and what things we have to look forward to. Let's quickly jump through all of the continued stuff. This is the stuff that has aired before or is coming back for a reboot because there's a few of those this season. Continuing from last season, we've got the Megumi Daigo. We have Mashal, which is coming back for a season 2. Yami Shibai coming back for season 12. It's been going for a very long while. We've got Dangers of My Heart coming back for season 2. High Card, which I actually really enjoyed, coming back for a season 2. So I'll be very excited to see that. We've got Hikari no Oi, which is coming back for a second season as well. And the reboot, which I think everybody's probably looking forward to, is Blue Exorcist, coming back for its reboot. That is a show that I saw a very long time ago. I like the soundtrack because I think it is Hiroyuki Sawano. So those are the continued things. There are some more coming out, but these are the ones which really grabbed my attention. I'm quite shocked that a few of these are coming back so quickly. Mashal already back for its season 2. We've got things like Dangers of My Heart. That only really seemed to have aired 2 seasons ago. It feels a bit more split Corey than a second season. I think the most excited I am is probably for High Card. I was really shocked by the first season. I wasn't really expecting very much, but I ended up really getting sucked into the plot. Let's now talk about the new stuff that is coming our way, but I'm not going to break it down on the channel. So this is all the new stuff that I'm very interested in. Obviously, I'm not going through the entire list because there's a lot out there that's going on. There are some isekai on the list, but there's not much. So if you are a big isekai fan and want to know the full list, I would recommend checking out the live chart. First one I want to talk about is called Dungeon Meshi, Delicious in Dungeon, a food, comedy, fantasy anime where we're going to be eating in a dungeon. It looks absolutely hilarious. The artwork looks beautiful. There are a lot of shows this season airing that have got really nice source material. I'm going to be putting a few source material pictures up. I think this one looks great. It does remind me a bit of the one that Mappa had this year. It reminds me of that. I'm very excited to see another food anime because I'm a huge foodie. I'm a huge slice of life fan. I don't think this one's so much slice of life as opposed to a fantasy anime. It will be nice to see the food in a fantasy setting. We have Gei Elise, which is, I think, Lady of the Lamp. Elise is going to be repenting for a past life. There's a few of these this season. There's a lot of past life type animes coming back where the people get reborn. They weren't great in their first life. She is repenting for a past life. She's becoming a doctor in this new world. She's able to do a bit of good work as a doctor in the new world, but then she ends up being sent back 10 years prior to when she died. She needs to put her new skills in action to help prevent her dying. There's a couple of these and I don't know how this one's going to go down compared to all of the other ones that there have been, but it just felt interesting to have that doctor aspect in the show. I want to know how much they're going to do when it comes to leaning on medicine. There was the isekai this year that was the boy who had medicine. I liked that show because his powers were all about medicine and helping people. That one went down very well with me. I'm going to be interested to see if this one also does the same type thing. It feels like it's an isekai as well because she's technically been reborn as a doctor but then been sent back to her world. So that feels like a reverse isekai. Will be exciting to see what new things that brings to the genre. The next one I am very excited for. The show is called Loop 7. It comes out on January the 7th because they didn't miss a beat there. It is based on a light romance novel, a fantasy novel. She dies at the age of 20 in her real line. She ends up being reborn 5 years earlier to try preventing her death. But it ends up taking her 7 loops. She dies different times. She tries different ways of living. She tries different stuff. One loop, she does try to be a doctor. She ends up being killed constantly by the same person in most of these loops. On the 7th loop round, she decides that I'm going to try and get close to the person who killed me, which is an interesting decision. He essentially, this loop round, wants her to become his wife. It ends up with her in loop 7 trying to keep her enemy as close as possible, seeing if she can actually get past 5 years without dying. We've had a few of these where people have tried to stop themselves dying. We had Tear Moon Empire this season. I enjoyed it, but show that I think reduces down eventually to this person knows everything and there's no surprises anymore. I don't know if it's going to go down the same route, because I think Tear Moon became a little bit predictable. It did better than the show that aired previously in the season before it. I haven't had a show that's completely nailed this genre yet for me. Maybe Loop 7 is going to be that show that does actually nail the genre. The next show, you guys are going to think I've dived into a hentai. I have not. It is called Time for Torture Princess. Hime Sama Gorman no Jikan Desu. It comes out on January the 8th. We have a princess who is captured. She's brought into the world of demons and she's kept in the castle. It reminds me a bit of the princess who was sleepy, the sleepy princess who ends up in the castle. That was a gem of that season. That was hilarious. I wasn't expecting it to be as funny as it was. This show focuses in on the fun aspect of the torture, but also not quite, because she ends up being threatened by the idea of not having good food. So one of the people in the castle cooks really good food, and that ends up being more of a torture than the actual torture in the castle. It's supposed to be really, really funny, so I don't think it's supposed to go all S&M on us, but I don't know how it's going to go down, and it just sounds really, really fun. It's on my list to check out. Next up, we have Mr. Villain's Day Off, Kyujitsu no Waru Mono-san, a comedy. We're going to be following a very evil villain, but on his day off. What does he get up to on his day off? Have you ever wondered what villains of these big anime shows get up to when they're not actually being a villain? It's going to be slice of lifey, but it's also going to have this threat of a battle / life and death all inside the show. Evil villain is essentially trying to take over the world. They all seem to be doing. And we're going to see what he gets up to. It's supposed to be fun, chill. I have a feeling my favourite voice actor's in this one, but I can't remember. But I was really excited to find out that he has earned, I think it's National Treasure Voice Actor of the Year. Kenjiro Suda is one of my favourite voice actors, so I am going to check out if he is in it, because I think I've seen his name floating around. Let's go back for a more historical, action-y, drama-based anime, Sengoku Yoko, which is January the 10th. A world where humans overlap slightly with a monster realm, a demon realm. Worlds are essentially at odds. There's going to be a few battles. We're going to follow this main character. He is part demon. The humans are turning into monsters, so something weird is happening. Some humans are turning into monsters, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. It looks really pretty. The artwork looks pretty. I put a few of the pictures up on here. There's a few shows that if I had more space in my breakdowns, I really wish I could break down. I think this one will be fun to check out, see if it's got any potential. Next show I think has potential, but it is going to be on the isekai line for you guys. Sasuke to Pichan. We have a middle-aged office worker living in Japan, doomed to be a slave to the corporate world. One day, just to make his life just a tiny bit better, he heads to a pet shop. He decides he wants to find some company because he's a bit lonely, and he ends up adopting a bird called Pichan. Peeps ends up not just being an ordinary bird, but a powerful deity formed from another world. He ends up embarking on magical adventures into a different world with Pichan. It's an isekai, but it's also, I think he has the ability to come back to the real world as well. And we're going to follow the fun of these two hanging out together. The artwork looks pretty. The bird looks absolutely cute. It might end up winning Best Mascot, as I always end up having awards every season. This bird looks adorable. I think the artwork looks great, so I'm very excited to see how this one goes. The next show is one of the shows that I really wish I could break down, and I don't have the space. There's too much good stuff going on. But this is the show that I really want you guys to watch out for. It is called Maho to Yaju, Witch and the Beast. It's set in the UK, hence why I really wish I was breaking it down. If I really do like an episode, maybe I'll bring the odd review here and there to you guys. I am very excited by the show. I'm excited by the artwork. I'm excited by how it looks. It looks kick-ass. We have a cursed girl who ends up being cursed to become a witch. She's trying to find a way to uncurse herself. It's supposed to be a dark fantasy. She meets the beast, and the beast essentially also wants to uncurse himself. They end up having a unlikely duo, and it's one of those more grittier animes. The beast is quite hard. It also smokes. Not the likely heroine of the stories. I don't know if it's got like a higher rating as well. It seems like this manga has a very high score. It's piqued my interest. It's based in the UK. I was trying to work out what's actually happened to themselves. The relationship between the two, the chemistry between the two is going to be a bumpy one. It's going to be gritty, and I think eventually there's hints of a romance aspect, but it's not the main core. But I'm very excited to see this one in action. Just sad that I can't break it down on the channel. Struggle when it comes to having anything more than 3 shows. I've got 3 shows this season I'm breaking down. I think 3 shows is perhaps the max that I can really stretch to when I'm working full time and I've got other stuff on. The last show that I am going to be watching in my free time and I want to bring to your attention, A Sign of Affection. If you liked A Silent Voice, this is going to be the anime show to match that movie. Yubisaki to Renren, January the 6th coming out. We have a deaf girl who goes to university. Similar to A Silent Voice, she lives in a very different world. She can't interact with people in the same level. She has got a small circle of friends. It's very different because she rarely interacts with people because of the boundaries, the big hurdles that it is to overcome to be able to talk to somebody who is deaf. I think there's actually a girl at my work who does know sign language, but it's very rare to know somebody who does know sign language. It's supposed to be a show that's probably going to move you to tears. I would watch this one maybe with a box of tissues at hand to start crying into. She ends up on the train going to work. She ends up meeting a multilingual boy on the train. He is fascinated by her and he's determined to actually learn all about her. So he starts to learn sign language. It turns into a romance show. It's supposed to be very emotional, so I'm excited but also wary that I'm probably going to cry my eyes out when it comes to this show. But it does feel like a show to watch out for because it probably will be a hidden gem. A Silent Voice did very well and a lot of people really do praise that show. The artwork also looks beautiful on this show as well, so it's not going to be skimming out on how it looks and its visuals. It just needs to nail soundboard as well, and it perhaps has all of the makings of an anime of the season kind of award. Those are the shows that I want you guys to check out. They're the ones I'm very excited for. There are more animes out there coming out, but these are the ones that have grabbed my attention. I'm now going to jump into what I'm breaking down on my show, the ones that are going to have YouTube reviews every single week. I really struggled in the fall season. I had 2 shows going out on the same day. 2 videos in one night destroyed me. I ended up exhausted. I kept crashing. I did too much work. It became a bit much, especially with some of the not so nice YouTube comments I got in the season. It just struggled. I think because Apothecary Diaries, which is going to be your first breakdown continuing, that show, I love it to pieces, but because it blew up on the channel, it ended up getting a few negative comments here and there, which always happens when a video starts to go a bit more viral. But that show, let's talk about that show. It's continuing on its Sunday slot. The Apothecary Diaries is just amazing. I love this show to pieces. I am fully shocked by the level of detail, how complex the world is. The world building is amazing. The soundtrack is amazing. Kevin Penkin is behind the wheel. I love that man to pieces. He's going to be also very key this year coming because he's going to be also coming back with Tower of God season. Apothecary Diaries is a show that I cannot wait to continue with. I'm also glad that it's 24 episodes. Most seasons nowadays, they're always 12 episodes long and you get into it and then you just want more, or you don't think it's long enough, you think it's rushed. The Apothecary Diaries started really quick with its pacing, but it's settled into a very nice pacing. The mysteries are just coming and coming. There's twists absolutely everywhere. The characters are beautiful. The animation is beautiful. The level of depth and detail is beautiful. There's something very big going on and I can't quite figure out what's going on because it keeps giving me so much information. It's a show that I am honoured to break down with you guys. I'm very happy that you guys are liking it because I love it to pieces. To have more of you actually watching the show means I get to talk to you guys more. It does sadly open me up to the world of spoilers, but it does mean that I now have a moderator on my channel. He's not going to be doing very much. He is actually the animator for the Iona videos that I am bringing out every so often. I don't want to overload him because he's got his own stuff. He will be moderating mainly those videos in particular so I don't get spoiled. Continuing on Sundays with the Apothecary Diaries, I want want to know what's going to happen. I want to know the secrets of the show. I want to understand who Jinshi and Mao Mao really are and what the connection between the two really is going to be. Announcement really quickly, just because this is only a 3 episodes coming back. Zom 100 is coming back for just 3 episodes. It ended up being cut. It was doing so well on my channel. Hopefully this also does well when it's come back. It is airing, annoyingly, 3 episodes at once on Christmas Day. I am not going to be doing 3 episodes on Christmas Day because I need to have a break. I have 2 videos going out on Christmas Day. You're going to have Iona video and you're going to have one of the Som 100 videos. Som 100 is coming back on the channel for 3 separate days, 25, 26, 27. Those videos all out. We're going to finish the show. We're going to see how season 1 ends. I'm very excited to see it because the show did have a lot of hype. It looked great. It sounded great. It had an interesting premise. We were starting to gear up to some very dark aspects. I want to see what becomes of those darker aspects. Is he about to lose his parents? Is the bad guy, which I'm calling Akira, basically let the zombies in on purpose? What's going to happen to the bad guy? Because it feels like we've actually got a bit of an anti-hero or a villain. So that will be coming back. That's only coming up for 3 days though, so don't get too excited about that. We don't know if it's going to get a second season yet, but I will be finishing what I started. I don't know the date for this next one, but I think you guys are all hyped. I know there has been a premiere episode aired. I think it's coming out next week, so we'll see how I feel. Solo Leveling. I have done a lot of manhwas on the show. I've done God of High School, the Tower of God series. I did Noodles. Was it the Villainess and the Duke? That one? I think I've mentioned that one briefly. I have broken down majority of the manhwas that have come out for adaptation on the show. Solo Leveling is supposed to be one of the bigger ones. I've heard really good things about it. I've looked at the artwork briefly, not tried to give myself any spoilers. I'm going to break it down on the channel because I think it is going to be the show to watch out for. A lot of people are excited by this. This is probably the most hyped one coming out. Don't know what day it's coming out. I have a feeling it comes out on a Monday. So that's going to be Sunday, Monday, and I think the last show I'm breaking down is Friday. 3 different days, 3 different videos. That should be a bit more manageable for my palette. Obviously, you're going to have my Iona videos coming out here and there because those ones are edited by somebody else. All I have to do occasionally is find a day just to do some gaming. Do check those out. We're doing a lot of work with those videos. I'm very proud of how far we've come with her so far. She is just free software and I've got some new outfits for her to tease. Solo Leveling on the channel. Very, very excited to bring that one out to you guys. I don't know what to expect. I haven't really spoiled much for myself. It seems similar to Tower of God, where they're having to battle and this guy's doing some leveling up on his own, but I don't know much about the world and the premise around it. There's some very scary monsters in this one. Hopefully it's going to be adapted very, very well. We know so far that there's not really been the greatest adaptations. I think the Duke Villainess lady, that's been the best so far for me. Tower of God coming back for a second season does give it a chance to also get better animated and also just get a bit more TLC, because I think that one really hooked me. Out of the shows that we had, that was the manhwa that really hooked my attention, and I want to see what's going to happen in the second season. Very excited to see if Solo Leveling can come out and finally break the curse of the manhwa adaptations. So the last show being broken down on my channel is Demon Prince of Mochi House. I'm very excited for the artwork. It might have the best artwork of the season, coming out on January the 5th, a Friday. We have a girl who ends up inheriting a mansion from her granddad who passes away. She essentially was in an orphanage, so I think last minute she finds out, actually, this is your grandfather. It's time to go find out about your family, why you're in an orphanage. She finds out that the house is rumoured to be haunted, where she ends up meeting some particular squatters living in her house. Alarm bells start ringing immediately when you say that, but it turns out that they are not your kind of normal squatters. And this house ends up resting on the edge of a spirit realm, and all the people living in the house are spirits, or they are slightly cursed to be there. It does remind me of Kami-sama Hamajimi Mashita, and if you did check out my anime Clockwork Rewinds, my favourite anime is Kami-sama Hamajimi Mashita. I love that show. I love it to pieces. The fox guy looks like Tomoe. She doesn't quite look like Nanami, but it does look very similar. So is it possible this show's going to break out into number 1 and kick my favourite show into the dust? Does it hold the same level of depth that that show's going to have? Because a lot of Kami-sama Hamajimi Mashita is about the past. A lot of that is time travelling. A lot of that is the depth of the characters and their chemistries. So I'm very excited to see where the show goes. It no doubt looks amazing. Every character looks gorgeous. The art looks gorgeous. But can they translate that into the anime. The manga may look good, but is the anime also going to look that level of good? Because sometimes shows that look good in manga don't translate very well into the screen, and sometimes shows that look crap in a manga look amazing on the screen. It can be vice versa. I want to see how this one goes. Those are the 3 shows I'm breaking down on my channel. I hope you guys are going to join me for at least one of them. We are going to be breaking down shows on Friday, Sunday and Monday. There's a lot going out in your direction. There's going to be the anime of the year going out. That will also allow me to thank you guys so much, go through some stats of how the channel has grown. And we're also going to have the end of season review coming out in a week, where I'm going to crown top 3 anime shows of the fall season. It's been an amazing fall, but it's time to jump into winter, time to go into a whole new year of anime, start the counter up again. In my end of season, I'm going to crown anime of the year. I'm now going to refresh the tables. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. It really has meant a lot. It's been a very rough year for me. Ups and downs, reflectives, trying to change and do a few different things, but I have sadly overworked myself in the fall season. I need to adjust how I work because things are starting to get a bit unmanageable. Thank you so much. I really hope you have a great new year. I wish that you have a happy Christmas as well, and I hope to see you guys in the new season. Consider subscribing if you are new and you have family for the first time. I will see you guys very shortly for another video. Bye guys.